Welcome to the Commercial Kitchen Chronicles, the original food service equipment repair podcast built by technicians for technicians. Whether you're on the front lines of repair, keeping the kitchen running smoothly, or just passionate about the food service repair industry, this podcast is your go-to source for expert insight, tech tips, and real stories from the field. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Commercial Kitchen Chronicles. Tonight, we are not talking kitchens. We're going to talk some HVAC. I get a very special guest co-host, Megan McIntosh. You guys may know her from Mechanical Environments. And we have very special guest, Katey, at HVACGirlie on TikTok. And we're going to get into how she got into trades and some more. But first, here's a quick tip from our friends at Viper. To commercial kitchens, clean coils and evaporators are essential. And Viper's NSF registered products are the best choice. Safe, effective, and formulated to keep kitchen systems running smoothly. You know, it's that time of year. Weather's breaking. We're cleaning coils. We're out there. Make sure you check out Viper and what they have to offer, because I am using it almost daily. I had to buy a new case last week, and I am burning through it. So I appreciate Viper and Refrigeration Technologies for helping out with the show. So what is going on, Megan and Katey? I'm glad to see Megan again, and Katey's a new face here, and I'm sure she's got some pretty cool stories to tell.
Yeah, you know, just another day, another problem in our world. So
yeah, Jason was busy, and Rich is stuck on an ice machine install, and I went begging to Megan to come help me out so I could have some another face here to help me out. So I really appreciate you coming on, helping out, and I really appreciate Katey taking the time to come on. I stumbled across Katey probably about a month ago, I think, right when she first joined TikTok. She's only been on, you say, a month and a day today. So
yeah, yeah.
I think I found her pretty early on. I followed her, and she followed me right back, and I liked what she was doing. She's out there just showing off what she's doing and trying to build up the industry, and it's great to have her on.
Thank you.
So let's get into it. I know you're from Ohio. That's about all I know.
Okay.
So you want to give a brief rundown of what you did before you got into HVAC, because you've only been doing this for a few years.
Yep.
So
I am 32, almost 32, I should say. I started the last 10 years after high school. Started out as a bartender and a waitress, and I really enjoyed the one-on-one customer aspect. I like the dynamic of having a relationship with a customer, representing my business in a positive way. Well, the one I was working for, obviously not my own. And so I have kids that are getting older and starting sports, and they have plays and they have practice and they have this and they have that. And so when my kids were young, it made sense to be a waitress and a bartender. I worked in the evenings. My husband worked during the day. We never needed a babysitter, but I had to miss out on a lot of the time. So as they all got older and started going to school, I started kind of thinking about my long-term plan. Bartending is great money, don't get me wrong, especially living in a resort town. Summertime, great. I mean, as much as I love this job, it's not, it can't match that. But I'm not required to spend all of my nights until 2 p.m. or 2 a.m. and my evenings on the weekdays until close, and then having to open the following day. I have more time for the kids. So I started calling around to the colleges. I didn't know what I wanted to do. It's not like I just was a kid and I just dreamed of fixing furnaces. But when I spoke to the advisor, and she was kind of asking me my background and what my husband does, he does construction, and she recommended heating and cooling, and it was not anything I ever considered or had ever known anything about. And I was kind of like on a whim, I was like, I'll try it. And turns out I love it. It was like 2 months in, and I was starting my first electrical class. And I'm like, I'm not going to be able to do this. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And my instructor was like, if you just stare at it long enough, if you just try hard enough, eventually, he's like, I can't explain it, but one day it's just going to click. And that is the truth. I walked into electrical class day one confused. And if I just stared at it and studied it and tried to understand it long enough, one day it just made sense. And after I made it through that hurdle with electrical, after that, I loved it. It gave me self-pride. It was something I thought I couldn't do. And then I proved to myself I could. And, I was proud of myself. And I was like, I love this. And then when I learned out the different, ways that you can go with HVAC, you can do refrigeration, you can do commercial, you can do residential, industrial, traveling. So I kind of had to find my niche, what I wanted and what closely resembled what was important to me, which is the customer aspect and what I wanted. You get a lot of instant gratification. Something's broken, you fix it. There's, not a gray area.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there's a gray area, especially with an intermittent issue. But for the most part, you get that instant gratification of just having an issue and being able to repair it. And you're like, good job, self. So that's kind of what drives me still further. And I work for a good company who has been very accepting as well as understanding, and to take us in and train us, and understanding that we're all coming from different levels of competency, and kind of working with me with what I'm comfortable with and what I'm not. They didn't just throw me on top of giant building, considering I was afraid of heights when I started, and now I'll get up there. So I've been very blessed to have the company that I work for. I took my instructor's advice. Before I took a job, I was putting resumes around, and everyone who responded, I waited until I talked to my instructor, and I was like, one of them specifically, I had two instructors. I talked to both of them, but one of them, Mr. Purdy, love him. I talked to him like, what do you think? What have you heard from past students and this and that? And the company I went with was highly recommended. And even now, still from what I hear, I lucked out. So I've been very lucky. Haven't had a lot of crazy situations happen. It's only been 3 years, so we'll see.
So how big is the company you work for?
A couple of us just trained up our last technician. So we have 4 of us now, 4-week rotation on call. Love that. It's been 3 of us for 2 years. So
that's rough. That's I'm 4-week rotation right now. And it can be.
I love it. I'm excited. I'm like, once a month for 7 days, sign me up.
What's a rotation?
Yeah. Megan, like, it's your turn. You can do it.
Yeah, no, we're
just rock, paper, scissors for it, or just both just go?
It depends on what it is. I mean, half the time I'll go knock it out, or at least attempt, or call Matt if I need some tech support. But most of the time I can handle it, unless it's something that's completely jacked up, and it's like, well, one circuit's back on. I'll go through this compressor. See you later.
We'll readdress tomorrow.
Yeah. Get your quote.
So is the owner of your company a technician, or are they out of the field?
He was a technician. He actually still does. Like, so we're a small company. We have probably, I'm going to guess 10 installers, now 4 technicians, an install manager, a service manager, and then the owner of the company. We have a couple secretaries. But I've called the owner several times, and he personally has shown up to the job. It just depends. We have a service manager, but sometimes he's, out, or he's out of town, or he's helping someone else. And, the 2 technicians that were before me, they're both very good at their job. One of them's younger than me, but he's smart. And then one of them's been in the field for many years, and obviously very smart in the field as far as what I need. But there's only so many people I can call, and a lot of times, because our company is small, when we are busy, you don't really have a lot of numbers you can dial and them actually come. But I'm grateful to work for a company where if I need him, and when I have needed him, he has shown up.
That's awesome, because honestly, a lot of ownership groups aren't going to be the one to show up or help or even know anything about HVAC these days with private equity. So
yeah, we have great.
Yeah, that's a really good thing to have. I've seen not even private equity, but like, there's guys that'll start an HVAC business because they, someone they knew had one, or they've heard there's money in it. And, next thing you know, they can run a business, but they don't know how to fix anything. And then if they don't have anybody to stand behind them, a service manager, someone that actually did the field work and understands to help them out, if you're just out there struggling and calling your friends, or you're online looking for people you can, bounce stuff off of. So that's really cool they can come out.
Yeah. Or hiring Joe Schmo off the street. If you don't have a background, how are you going to vet the ones that do?
Yeah. That's so in my industry, most of our office people are like accountants and stuff like that. And it's like you got to have somebody in the field that you can rely on to help, kind of middleman it, kind of help fill out some of the BS or something. You get some interviews or you get some resumes, they look great. You start asking them questions, you're like, oh, this is fabricated or this is embellished or this is just straight up a lie. I mean,
Yeah.
this, their resume is perfect. And then you start talking to them like, man, this guy can't do anything. I'm like, how's his resume look like this? And just, you couldn't realize that people just lie anymore on a resume, I think.
Yeah, my service manager, when I went in to do my interview, I did it with the owner of the company, the install manager, and the service manager. There's all three of us in a room. And the service manager was like, come with me. And he took me back to the parts room and he's like, what's this? What's that? What's this? What's that? And I'm glad I got everything right. But at first, I'm like, all of these components are super basic. And then after talking with some of our guys, they're like, no, there's literally people who don't know what a contactor is applying for this position. I'm like, okay, well, now I understand.
So did you go straight into service or did you do install at all?
Straight into service.
Nice. I always like asking people at HVAC because it seems like a lot of people, go into install first and then they kind of like.
I don't think it's optional. I mean, I think a lot of time, I think honestly, without knowing for sure and trying not to sound sexist, I think the reason they didn't put me in installs, they're like, he's not going to be lifting too many water heaters by herself, like I can use a cart. But anyway,
I'm in the camp. Yeah, I'm in the camp that you shouldn't be able to do an install until you learn service, in my opinion. Just because
I think both need to know both.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you don't know the clearances and to be able to service a unit and not running gas in front of it and all the dumb stuff I see every day and have to correct, don't install.
Or you're installing it so close to the house, I can't take a panel off. Or you're installing a door panel right behind a gas line. And I'm like, you clearly have never had to take one of these freaking doors off before.
Yeah.
So
I service for a couple weeks.
All the time you'll see line sets like they're all pretty. I'm like, oh, that line set's right in the way though.
Or electrical attached to the unit. I need to clean this.
Yeah, I'm like, can you never do this again, please?
I don't know how some of these people I don't know. And I don't even do HVAC, like residential, but I'll see some pictures like this is, it looks good, but I feel sorry for you. Who's got to work on this thing.
Yeah.
They don't. When they do it, they don't.
Yeah, that's true.
They absolutely don't. It's like, oh, that unit's trapped above all that conduit. Can't get it.
They didn't even think of me when they did that.
No.
Thinking, that's just half the battle right there. Most people aren't thinking and nobody bothers to read a manual ever. So
what do you think the book of secret?
So how long did you went to trade school, correct?
I did the 2-year associates program, but I did it in one.
Nice.
Only 1 year of it is technical hands-on, and then the other year of it is like your gen eds. And so I just doubled up the gen eds with my technical. So I would do technical during the day, gen eds online at night. Which means all the grants I got only covered one semester at a time. So it was a lot of out of the pocket, which when they tell you that that's an option, they don't tell you that. So keep that in mind. You're going to get a $1,500 paycheck on a Tuesday and it's due on Friday. Be ready.
That's wild. That's a lot of work though. I mean, I think if I was going to do it, it'd be the same way. I try to get as much done as possible, as fast as possible. Especially if you have the time and ability to do it, that's the way to do it.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to have your degree in it in Ohio to work on it. I mean, you could just come off the streets and I mean, obviously you're not going to have your 608 for refrigerant or your 609, or you're not going to have your NATE or your ICE, like whatever, like all of those feathers you're not going to have. But as far as like working on the equipment, you don't have to. But I also, being a woman with absolutely zero mechanical background, I did not want to come in green. I wanted to have at least a little something, Turns out you learn almost nothing in school, but it at least got me in the door.
They give you enough to be dangerous, but not enough to really do anything.
True.
It's wild to see some of the people that come out of trade school, because we've hired like the top technicians and the best they can do is test a capacitor. And it's just like, what did they teach you?
It's because most of the trade schools,
what's an ohm?
most of the trade schools,
No.
most of the schools for the trades are for-profit schools, and they just funnel people in there and just funnel them right out, and it's like
it is literally for profit, and that is the issue.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know if UNOH is nonprofit or profit, but it's actually a diesel school, like a race car diesel school locally, and they started adding all these extra programs. And I had kids from like North Carolina, Pennsylvania, traveling from out of state to come to this school, which Ferris University in Indiana or Illinois, which one is it? I think it's Illinois. Yeah, that makes sense to travel for, because to get your bachelor's in HVAC, like they don't just have that everywhere unless you're doing like a 2+2, which is like a business with HVAC. But not your bachelor's focused in HVAC. That makes sense to travel for, but just like your associates in HVAC, I don't know. I guess I was surprised to find that kids were traveling from out of state.
Must not be anything worth it, or the program in their area is probably.
Or mommy and daddy were paying, and they were like, "That's the furthest I can get."
Yeah, there's some of that too, I'm sure.
My son's buddy went to that like 3-month like lineman program in Tennessee that's all over social media and stuff. And he went there.
How much money is he making now?
Not very good, because he had a poor life decision.
That'll do it. That'll do it every time.
Poor life decision. Yeah, it'll pay off eventually, but he's got to wait a few years, so it is what it is.
Yeah,
he's a good kid. I mean, just dumb decisions. I mean, and everybody has to make their own decisions in life, and sometimes sometimes it works out, sometimes it don't. So it is what it is. I'm not against. He's a good kid. But yeah, we have some. I think it's Lincoln Tech, or
we have a Lincoln Tech here too,
and they're pushing like this refrigeration thing so hard right now, and it's like somehow it keeps popping up on my social media feeds, and I'm just like, it's like, oh, you can come learn refrigeration. And the guy has the gauges on wrong, and like the system's completely flat, but he's acting like he's doing something. I'm like, the needles are on 0. You guys could have like superimposed some needles on there, and I'm like, I'd much rather go work for a company making like $20 to $25 an hour and have them teach me how to do it than pay you guys. I always put it on there and they delete it. It's like, I'm surprised you guys haven't blocked me
yet. With our school, they'll have like, well, not now, but when I was in college, they would have like photographers come around and like, especially when they're doing their advertisements. So we had photographers come to our classroom, and the guys were like amp clamping a copper line set. Checking voltage like on plastic. And like, can you not do that for our advertisements for our college?
I'm shocked at how many manufacturers' material for marketing I see that is done wrong.
I'm like, you guys have people there that know how to do this right. Ask them. And I've told my company, I work for a company that's like a $2+ billion a year company, and I'm like, man, if you guys have questions about your videos or your pictures or your images, like, call me, send them to me. I will gladly proof them and help you.
Like, I will tell you that this is fucking wrong.
Like, I don't want you guys, because the internet, especially something like that, goes out wrong.
You're gonna get ate up.
Oh yeah, they destroy them, and I'm like, and most people don't have a very good outlook on most things, so it gets pretty wild pretty fast some days. So
the internet's not very nice sometimes.
Yeah. So you've been at your current company, you said 3 years, correct?
Yep, straight out of school.
Straight out of school. So what is your goal? What do you see yourself doing next? Do you just want to keep learning? Do you want to be a lead technician? Do you want to be a manager? What's next for Katey?
So I, at least the next 5 years for sure, staying where I'm at. I'm happy with the company I'm working for. The only way I would ever leave the company I'm working for would be to work for myself. I definitely know I'm not there yet. There's a lot I need to learn. I would think, I mean, even though I installed in college, I correct wrong installations more often than I would like. I know how to read the manual. I can do all those things. I know how to call tech support and my resources to use that. But I'm happy with where I'm at. I definitely feel like I have a lot more I need to learn before I would ever go off on my own. As far as the company I'm with, that would be the end of the road as far as companies I would work for. I mean, I've talked to technicians and other local companies in my town, and kind of, I don't really care what the dollar amount is. Honestly, I got offered more outside of this company. It's just more of like the way the employees are treated, or the way the system is ran, or the way it's operated. I'm very happy with that. The only way I would leave ever is for myself, and that is obviously the end goal. My husband does construction. I mean, I told that to them when I was interviewing, that he does construction. I'm going to be doing HVAC. Eventually, the plan would be to run a company where we're bouncing off each other. We're doing construction, we're doing HVAC, doing electrical work, we're doing plumbing. But I'm nowhere near ready for that. I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. I get to be the guy that shows up at 8, gets my calls, runs them, and goes home. I'll do my rotation when it's my turn, but I don't have the overhead or, the customer backlash when something goes wrong, or the stress or any of that. So right now I'm thankful to have the boss I do, because all of that is not my problem. But whenever I feel like I'm at that point where I'm ready for it to be my problem, we're going to be, starting our own HVAC construction situation. He kind of already does a little construction on his own, but we both are pretty loyal to where we work. So we try to push too far outside of any conflict or anything like that. Just because we're happy with where we're at. We don't have a lot of responsibility and stress on us outside of just going to our job and doing it. But whenever I'm ready for the extra baggage, that's the plan.
Extra baggage. There's going to be a lot of it too.
Oh, I don't wish to be you yet. Okay.
I don't wish to be me most days. So
I'm so happy for you guys. You're the one who I talked to about how you guys split off and did your own thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I'm happy for you. I think that's amazing. I'm not ready to be you yet, but I thought so earlier, but I just wanted to make sure, because the company name, I'm like, she said it was just them, but I don't know. So,
yeah.
We spent like 6 days together in Florida, and every single day at some point she was on her phone, like answering calls, sending invoices, checking emails, getting out the computer, and like scheduling stuff, ordering stuff.
I believe you. Okay.
And that was a quiet week, Kat. That was a quiet week. Yeah. It was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, like, in my opinion, nobody's calling.
And he's like, you've answered it 4 times today, Megan. People are calling.
But my thing is, if you get to where you start thinking you're close, find you some mentors, some people that have been in your position and then have made that jump. Because there's a lot of people that can fix anything in the world, and they cannot run a business to save their lives. They
can't even handle people in general.
Yeah.
They're great at fixing stuff, but are bad at customer communication.
My co-host and I, we preach LinkedIn. It's boring. It's boring, but it serves a great purpose. My instructor
got me on there. I just made one.
It's boring, but it serves a really great purpose.
It's where all your manufacturer representation,
yeah,
all your manufacturer relationships get cultivated. So it's important to have a LinkedIn for sure.
Plus, you can link up with other people that have been in your position and started a business, and then you can bounce stuff off them. My co-host, Rich, he started his own business a year ago, and he's killing it. But he knew he wanted to do it for years. He had some mentors. He took his time. He, made a plan. He didn't just one day wake up and quit his job and go do it. A lot of guys.
That's kind of reckless. Yeah, I'm not about that. I'm a planner. I'm a list maker. I definitely think it's important that whenever I do, to have my sources. Like I need to know where I'm calling for tech support for this or for that, because in HVAC, it's not just furnaces and air conditioners, and in refrigeration, it's not just coolers and ice makers. You know what I mean? Like in my job, I might show up to a call and it might be like I had a coworker went to a furnace leaking water call last night, it was last night, and it was a main sewer line busted.
Those are the best. Not my problem. Bye.
Said, you need to call a plumber, and I'm leaving because we don't do plumbing.
Yeah, I get those. I had a certain customer we do HVAC work for, rooftop units, and like our rooftop unit's leaking. I'm like, it's raining outside. It's not your rooftop unit. Oh yeah, it's a rooftop unit. So I go there and I'm like, No,
Your
like
roof's leaking.
I took a picture of the slit in your roof or the hole in your roof. I'm like, this is where your water's coming from. Well, can you fix that? I'm like, no, I'm not a roofer.
Not a roofer.
First time on a roof, my coworker who was training me on the rooftops, he said, "Don't drop that panel so hard." I'm like, "Why?" He said,
Oh, yeah.
"Don't you cut that that roof
Yeah,
liner."
don't cut the
So
membrane.
now I'm like, be gentle with it.
You'd think the manufacturers would have rolled edges on those panels, and they never are. And
Sheet
they get
metal
this,
flat or something.
But how much does it really cost for a manufacturer to change to a hinge door with encapsulated insulation? Like, it can't be that much more.
exactly.
Like,
I've seen it done. Okay.
Yeah. There's
It's
several
doable.
manufacturers that do it. Yeah.
like it's just such a joke. Like the bat insulation, it's moisture, like full of moisture and contaminated in no time. Like why do we still use that? Why is that still the standard?
I agree.
Sweet. So, you started this TikTok. Let's talk about that. Why did you do that?
I want more girls to join. I want more girls to know that it doesn't matter if it's HVAC, it's electrical work, construction work, auto work. I don't care. I love to see men in nursing. I like to see the women fixing stuff. I like when I walk into somebody's grandmother's house and they're like, I have waited my entire life for women to get a chance. And the second we got it, they picked secretarial work. Like, I'm glad to see women branching out. So to me, that was I want to make it look like it feels to me. Like it feels empowering. It feels like I'm proud of myself. It feels like I'm in a place where I'm welcomed. I know a lot of girls I've talked to are like, I don't feel welcomed in this field. I don't know if I'm a unicorn or just blessed, but I've been open-armed welcomed by my coworkers, my bosses, my distributors, my customers. Of course, there's some bad apples no matter where you look. But for the most part, it has been open arms, welcoming, something I can be proud of. And I want to inspire girls, my daughter who's going to be 15 or any younger girl, older girl, I don't care. I waited to go to college till I was 28, like 27, 28. I think it's great. I hope to see more girls join. So I've been very conscious not to I don't know, wear a tank top or do full body shots, because I don't want it to be.
Don't sexualize it. Yeah,
I don't want it to be that.
Yeah.
And I know even if I did that, some people are never going to see it sexual. Some people are.
Yeah.
It's important to me that it's HVAC. It is women empowering women. It is women cheering women on. So that's
why I keep my page the way I do. I mean, it's rare if you see me in a post.
I know. I'm glad you do.
Megan used to never show herself, and occasionally she shows herself. And Megan does a really good job.
Megan.
Yeah. I love seeing women in traditionally male-dominated fields. I'm excited. Like I follow some plumbers, electricians, HVAC, women in HVAC. There's a few women that do what I do, and
I appreciate you highlighting it. I appreciate you doing that. Thank you for that.
Pat's a big supporter of us women in trade.
Oh yeah, I love it, man, and I just want to show it. It's really cool to see. I mean, yeah, there is some things that a heavy compressor, you're going to have some help, or someone's going to give you a hand. But man, there's some compressors. There's some compressors that I got to have help getting up there. So, and I'm a big dude, so it is what it is. I mean, we all can't do anything.
I've gotten inside of a condenser to get. I'm like, I can get in there, okay?
Oh yeah, we get inside of equipment all the time. Like, there's no other way to fix some of this stuff.
No, you need in there, and you got to be. Sometimes when there's a really tall job, they don't send me, and I'm like. Even with a 12-foot ladder, I wouldn't fit up there. And then other times, they're like, we need a small person, which I don't mean in weight. I mean height. And they sent me. And so I'm good with that.
Yeah. I think more women just need to know, the bar is set so low in most of these smaller jobs, especially HVAC. Like, when I started, I was terrified. Like, oh, I don't know anything. Like, I was bleach blonde, right? I dyed my hair back because I didn't want to be the dumb blonde that didn't know anything. And, within a month, I meet some of my higher ups and they're like, you didn't know anything before and you're reading blueprints, like, yeah, it's like a map. Like, it's not hard. You know, just like little stuff like that.
You get it. Don't forget that.
Well, it's just like, you know, take the time, read a manual, learn, educate yourself, use your resources. Like, I had all these manufacturers at my disposal, all my sales reps and everything. Like, hey, give me all the knowledge, teach me. No, like, it's there. You just have to want to learn and give a shit at the end of the day. If you can show up and just care, like, you'll be fine in this industry.
Yeah.
Agreed.
There's so many people here that shouldn't be here, and it's wild.
There's a lot of that too.
Like she said, you know, they took her in the back in the warehouse, was asking her what parts were, and some of the guys like, oh, there's guys coming in who don't know what a contactor is. I'm like,
I know. I'm like, you went because I'm not going to knock the local school, and I didn't go there, so I'm not going to name it. But there's a local school where the high schoolers go and they like do a 2-year program. There's their junior and senior year.
Local career center. Yeah.
Whatever, career center. That's a good name for it. And everybody I've seen come out of there is just kind of like, oh, well, whatever. And so I asked them like about their instructors their technical class time. Like my technical class time, our instructors, they were not on games. Like if you're in there messing around, you're going home. The assignment's incomplete. That's your own fault. Like they're going around checking work. They're going around making sure everybody's focused, which I would think as much money as their parents are spending or I'm spending to be there, you're going to take it serious. Not all of them do.
You would hope.
But some of the kids that we've taken from the career school, they're like, yeah, well, they just put us in there for the day. We just did whatever we wanted. And I'm like, so not structured at all. And I'm like, what assignments did you have? And they're like, assignments. And I'm like, okay, well, that explains everything I needed to know about why you weren't ready.
I've heard some schools like they just watch YouTube videos. Like that's what they teach them. They just put on YouTube videos and like walk out.
I still watch YouTube. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I watch YouTube videos too, but like that was their instructor was like they just turned on YouTube videos and walked away. I'm like, you can't.
I can do that for free on my own.
Yeah, literally for free.
YouTube's
$15,000 education, probably not.
YouTube's bailed me out more than I'd probably like to admit. So
same. Chat GPT too. They're not always right, but I'm known to ask Chat GPT a question. The recharging chart's gone, and I'm like, this is the refrigerant. Could I Google it? Yeah, I can go through 4 different charts and 6 different pages to find it. Or I asked my little AI robot and then double check it twice.
Nice. Yeah, Chat GPT has been I use it to create posts, some other stuff. I haven't used it to work too much. Haven't had the need to, but I may start diagnosing something and then asking Chat GPT and see what it says. Play with it.
Well, I was asking for charging charts. I don't know if I would use it for diagnosis, but you know.
Well, we did have a customer not too long ago. They had power issue. Their chiller controls were all messed up, and they were like, "Yeah, we asked Chat GPT how to unlink the chiller to the controls so we could control it again." Like, you have destroyed these controls at this point. This is going to be a start over on these controls.
Let's not.
I mean, they got it unlinked to where they could have remote access to the thermostats again.
But like, level of AI, and I don't think that's it.
I'm just like, good Lord, you did what? This isn't going to be cheap to fix.
Yeah, you can't trust AI.
No,
yeah, never in a million years will I do that.
Check it several other places afterwards.
I mean, it's always learning. It's always adapting. So, I mean, eventually it's going to figure it out. But
yeah, in the future, not today. Though.
5 wrong answers makes it a solid right answer on chat.
Yeah, that's 100% true there. You know what? Everyone's doing these little. I'm going to complain for a second. So, you probably know this is going. These stupid. I may make you guys mad, but these action figure things, everyone's using like Chat GTP or whatever to make.
They are obnoxious.
They're driving me nuts. I was like, I refuse to do it.
Action figures.
Like it's more on probably
on Facebook. And then like everybody's super thick and short.
Yeah. They're making everybody like action figure jobs and like you can pick.
Why are we doing that?
I don't know. Like it just blew up last week.
It.
And someone made a post that was like Mark's safe from creating an action figure.
That's funny.
And I almost stole and put it as my story, but I was like, I have so many friends that did it. I'm probably gonna catch hell for saying this on here.
It reminds me when they started the poking and everybody poked each other. Don't.
Yeah, back in 2005.
Yeah, don't poke me. And I'm not joining farmland either.
Right. No, the first couple action figures, like, oh, that's cute or whatever. And then it got obnoxious. I'm with you, Pat. To the point to where Matt was even like, I unfollowed people this week because of the action figures. Like,
stop it.
Good.
Or I was like putting them on a motorcycle or in the back of a pony and they could see what they look like with red hair or brown hair. Stop, Cheryl.
So Smart Care, which is a service company, does what I do. They had one and like there was no person in it, and it was like because you haven't started working here yet or something. Like they were using it for advertising. I was like, that's super weird.
I mean, that's actually like kind of creative, but
they're appealing to the younger generation.
Yeah.
I try to stay away from like the little trending things. Like I'm not that kind of person. So.
I've never been trendy, so
yeah, it's super big on Instagram right now and Facebook. So you don't do it
on Facebook for sure.
Do you do an Instagram for your HVACGirlie yet, or
no? Just started TikTok. That's the extent.
We'll guilt you into that one for the show's over with.
Yeah, you should definitely do an Instagram as well, just in case, because there's the thread
of TikTok
going away.
At least make it the same name.
If Jesus wants to take it, I wasn't going to do very hot anyway.
At least make one with your name, just so you have your name, so no one else can have it. And if you don't do it, it's there. But
there's probably already one there.
No, I tried tagging you and it didn't come up.
Oh, well, so nobody's there. Good.
Yeah, I'll snag that
tonight.
But Instagram's really got a really good trades focused group on there.
Is there a name?
No, it's just that the trades are really well represented and everyone has their back. It's not, if you get on Facebook and there's a lot of negativity and a lot of trolling and stuff, and that's not
bullying times 10.
That's not tolerated on Instagram. Everyone kind of has their back and everyone sticks up. And now there is little, bickering and fighting it, just like everything else. But Instagram is really a pretty inclusive place as far as the trades go.
Yeah, I'll check it out then.
Instagram and TikTok, in my opinion, are two totally different worlds too.
Oh yeah, it's completely different.
Yeah,
it's super weird, super wild.
Why? Why do you say that? What do you mean?
It's just like those who are loyal to Instagram are loyal over here, and you'll see other people. Like there's different communities on each platform.
What about Facebook? Because I don't have much of either.
I keep Facebook mainly for the group chats, like the HVAC school group chats and that kind of stuff, just so like I can help answer questions and stuff when I see them. But like our Instagram pushes to Facebook, but I'm not getting on Facebook to post on Facebook. Like outside of Instagram pushing to there.
And I have an Instagram, but they're neither one affiliated. I actually had a TikTok, which my brother is a magician, so I would just like post his magic stuff, but I don't have one affiliated with my HVAC now.
So I had to share this comment. This is Rich. He's one of my co-hosts. He says that I bully him and Jason in the group chat. So
I've seen that. I wondered what that was.
If Rich would show up and participate and maybe come to events like AHR, you wouldn't be bullied so hard.
He's working on an ice machine. He's installed an ice machine. So that finally harvested. He's now on this 2-hour ride home. So
probably best to stay off the interwebs on a 2-hour drive.
Oh, he was probably watching standing in front of the ice machine. That's what I do. If I'm working, I don't know if you've ever done any ice machine work, but
only in school, and the black mold about made me never eat at a restaurant and drink anything ever again.
He jumped on. So most companies have a policy of ice machines. They have to make 3 batches before you can leave. So some machine. Oh, he left. He's gonna tell everybody.
You busted him on the rule.
He's gonna tell everybody that I kicked him. Watch. But we have a rule where you have to watch it harvest 3 times. Now some ice machines like 10 to 12 minutes. And then in some ice machines, that's like 45 minutes a cycle. So I try to leave my probes hooked up to the machine, and then I just I just have my phone on me, and someone looks. I just
can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
there you are.
I got better connection now. Yeah, I participated in that ice machine right there. I heard if Rich would show up and participate. That was supposed to be a like for like swap out, and when I got here 2 hours away, it was a new install. So yeah,
Gotta go
that's why
trace
I'm
down
out there
the
that day.
parts.
Yeah, but I mean, it makes the trip more worth it. Now on to my ride home. But since I got called out for not showing up, I figured I would real quick.
We need you to show up all the time.
I'm bullying you.
Listen, don't push it, okay?
I mean, you're coming to HR next year, right? Finally.
That's the plan.
Dig
I should have another tech by then and be able to take a few days off. Yeah.
Well, see, look, he hired a guy and he works even more hours now. They hired a guy. How does that work?
Because he's got to keep that guy busy with work, so he's got to
Because
overwork himself.
That guy does so much work that I spend like a third of my day quoting and ordering parts and crap, and then I'm like, okay, out the
That's a
door,
good
go do
guy.
some physical work. Oh, he's the
That's
bomb. I'm glad.
That's a good worker.
Yeah, I'm glad I got him. He's one of the best people I could ever got. It's a blessing for sure.
Nice.
But
Nice.
all right, y'all, I'm out.
See you, buddy.
Rich.
That's funny. Yeah, Rich is a good guy. He's got a great sense of humor. As you can tell, he just jumped on after we called him out. So, but I mean, like he said, he hired a guy probably a month ago, and he's worked more hours now than he ever has, just because he's quoting, billing, chasing more work, and actually out there working. So, he's the one that was researching before he went to work. He didn't just jump into it. He had some mentors, some people that done what he'd done, and he talked to them, and it's working out for him. So I'm proud of him.
Yeah,
That's
he's crushing it.
So if you were to talk to somebody, just say if you ran into it, say if you were at a gas station, you're in your van, and a teenage girl comes up to you and asks you about your job, what would you tell her?
She asked me what I did. I would tell her fixing stuff. If she asked me why I love it, I would tell her there's a lot of reasons. Number one being the gratification and being able to fix something. Number two, it always hits me in my heartstrings when it's an elderly person or a mother with kids. I like being able to help. I like having the comfort in being able to help. What I love about it is what it does for me and my confidence. I've taught myself I'm able to do way more than I ever knew I could. What I may not know, I'm able to learn. And I don't know, like if you were to tell me 10 years ago that I would be able to do what I do today, I don't know if I'd believe it. So I would probably just hit on that, is like, you have no idea what you're capable of. You have no idea the impact you can make, the lives you can make easier, happier, safer. That's what I tell her.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a lot of good points there. I just want everybody to understand that you can do anything you want. I mean, yeah, there may be physical limits, but I run into physical limits. Anybody can run into physical limits. I don't like climbing the roofs, but I get on the roof if I have to. I mean, I'm scared of heights. I remember the first time I climbed an extension ladder, I was up there shaking. You could see the ladder just
Me
like
and the ladder both shaking.
And then like now I just I climb up there and like I focus on the ladder. I get over the ledge and I go away from the edge and I'm fine.
Don't look at the edge.
I still don't like being up there. I still don't like climbing the ladder, but I do it.
Megan doesn't get it because she's cool up there.
I'm on a ladder every day. If I have to ask Matt to hold a ladder, I'm probably doing something I shouldn't be. So
Matt probably doesn't find a whole lot of coolers and ice makers on top of roofs.
Yeah, no, we don't deal with any of that. So
there's a lot of convenience up there. So it just depends on the location. Sometimes they're in an attic above the unit, which is the dumbest thing in the world, I think. But
yeah, some of that.
Sweet. Well, I don't want to keep much more of your time, but I really appreciate you coming on. I really appreciate you telling your story and inspiring, the next generation of techs, whether it be a female, male, whoever wants to do it. Just remember that you can do this job. There's nothing saying you can't. Just because you only know men that do it doesn't mean you can't do it. You can't be the next best tech. I mean, Megan's out there killing it. You're out there killing it. It's exciting to see women excel in fields that they haven't been showcasing, and we're going to show them off and give them the attention they deserve.
Yeah, and I like to tell people too, if you don't have to be in the field to help this trade out.
No,
I started at the parts distribution house, and then I wanted to learn more. I couldn't learn where I was. I had maxed out with my management crew, so I was like, screw it, I'm going to the contractor side. you can go learn everything you can at the parts house, learn the names of the parts, take every class they'll let you, and you're going to work with hundreds of contractors every day. You're going to build those contractor relationships. Somebody's going to offer you a job.
I'm proud of you, Megan. You came in here, you went in head first, blind as fuck to what you were going to go through. So I salute you. When you told me your story, I was like, I would throw up. So,
Yeah.
proud of you. I'm gonna have to find the episode where you tell your story.
It's on Pat's podcast.
Okay,
You can find it from like 2 years ago.
Dang it!
There's I think this is episode
I have the
138.
instant form, but I want to see it
You
on
know
your
the
page.
numbers, Pat?
I think it's,
Come on,
it's either 137 or 138. I think it's 138.
No take back, please.
This episode's 138.
Oh,
I think it's episode 138.
I thought you were calling out our episode number. I was like, how do you know all that?
It's probably in
Good.
30s or 40s. I'd have to go look at it and see.
Well, you can go to mechanicalenvironments.com, and Matt made a podcast link, and all of our podcasts that we've done are
There you
linked
go.
on there. And
I love
honestly,
that.
our episode with Pat was one of our favorites.
Shameless
About
plug.
customer communication. So
We need to have you
I'm
guys
gonna check that out.
too. Yeah. But yeah, shameless plug for Mechanical Environments.
Yeah. all right, it's just the easiest way to find it.
Shameless plug. I mean, don't judge her.
No, I'm not. I'm here to support any of my friends. Plug away. And that's what we're gonna do for you. Go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you on TikTok. We may be able to guilt you into Instagram later on. We'll see. But you're on TikTok right now for sure, showing off your work. You wanna plug that real quick?
Me,
Yeah.
HVACGirlie.
And
Right there at the bottom of my name.
I will put a link to that in the show description, and then when I tag you and stuff, I'll put a link in there as well. But I really appreciate you coming on, telling your story, and inspiring the next generation.
For having me.
Yep, I appreciate it. So have a good night, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
If you guys would, please consider subscribing, rating, and reviewing the podcast. It really helps us grow and helps us know which direction to move in. Also, if you have any suggestions for guests, please email me at commercialkitchenchronicles@gmail.com. Or if you want to be a guest, email me. Love to have you guys on. Thanks a lot. See you next week.